Ready.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Easton Historical Commission, January 8, 2019. First off, review and approval of minutes of December 11, 2018. Everyone, I assume, was sent a copy and has had a chance, hopefully, to look at it.
Motion and a second?
Motion to approve?
Any discussion, changes, nothing? Seeing none, all in favor? Excellent.
My Mr. Peanut vote.
Yeah. Demolition review application, 44 Day Street.
Yeah, come on up. Folks can hear you if you speak into a microphone for the recording. So 44 Day Street, we have a proposal to demolish the barn next to the main house. The commission remembers the order of business is to make a determination as to historic significance. Following that, a discussion and consideration on preferably preserved, not preferably preserved subject conditions, so forth. If it is found historically significant, there would have to be a public hearing next month. And in advance of the meeting, the application and the MHC inventory form was sent around to the board.
Identify yourself, please, for us.
Brian Haynes?
Okay, thank you. Homeowner?
Yes.
Thank you. There was a survey done on the property. It identifies the house, but does not identify the barn as being...
And it, the survey itself is silent on the historic significance of the property in general, both house and barn.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Inventory forms often will make a recommendation as to whether a property is eligible for listing on the National Register. This inventory form, which was done just a few years ago, is silent on the issue. It makes no recommendation one way or another. So one of the criteria for determining the historic significance is whether or not a property is listed on or eligible for listing on the National Register.
Not checked.
And
I'm sorry?
Not checked off.
yeah,
Right there.
so there's no statement of significance. So in previous applications, the commission has referred to inventory forms to guide their consideration of historic significance.
So, little, probably one carriage barn, garage, whatever was, the barn was probably its original function. You can see to the left side is probably an addition. So I guess first we have to find, or decide if we find this historically significant. So I need a motion, please. Don't be afraid. Motion, John, to find it not historically significant.
Correct.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. All in favor?
Okay, so the group has unanimously determined that the barn at 44 Day Street is not historically significant.
So,
Okay.
away it goes.
Okay, simple as that.
And the future plan looks pretty nice, pretty
Right.
spectacular when you're done. It's
Thank
gonna
you.
be pretty nice.
Thanks.
In keeping with kind of the Victorian
Yep.
flair of the house, you'll continue that.
That was the hope. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice property.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, thank you,
Thanks.
sir. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming in.
Where's our future plan?
Part of the application is here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, this one.
Yeah. He gets extensive on both.
I'm sorry?
He gets extensive on both streets, both sides, Main Street and Sherman Street. It's, you know, quite a nice complex when he's done there.
Was it common to find him not listed the way you spoke?
I'm surprised this house wasn't found.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
I'm still learning, so that's
No,
why I'm asking.
I'm a little surprised this wasn't found historically significant.
And the inventory forms don't determine if it's significant or not. It's the commission that will make that determination.
Right.
But
But not eligible, I
the
should
board
say.
will make a recommendation that it be eligible.
But not recommended for listings, I'm a little
Yeah,
surprised.
they're silent on it.
Yeah, it's a
So the
pretty,
commission could make a determination that it is historically significant.
right,
But,
Yes,
by
yeah.
precedent,
yeah.
they relied heavily on
No, and-
the inventory forms.
And it's nice that, he's gonna build around this house, you know, keep the house and add to it. It's pretty,
Right.
pretty spectacular house when you look at it, too. It's a nice house. Okay, CPA Historical Resource Applications Prioritization Discussion and Recommendation. We had 4 projects. There was, what are the 4, Wayne?
The South Easton Cemetery fence, Oak Ames Memorial Hall fire alarm radio box, the Tufts Farm assessment and plan, and the Smith Farmhouse continued exterior work.
Everyone familiar with? Oh, we were here last week, right? That's
I'm familiar with that.
But you're
fine.
familiar.
Okay, you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your feelings here on how we rank these? Southeast Cemetery is to,
Just that partial fence, correct?
Just the fence.
yeah, and I
Like
think just to
facing
use the
down.
existing,
No, they were talking about trying to rehab and get more pieces made.
all right, rehab would be,
The application is in 2 phases.
Yeah.
The first phase is going to be to restore the existing fence and to rehab some missing sections that are on site.
okay, yes.
There will still be a missing section
Yes.
that is completely gone. That would
Okay.
be a second phase of
We had asked
reclamation in
them-
the future.
We'd asked them to get some additional,
But that's for the future,
Yeah.
for the next phase.
Yeah, that would be the second.
Is
phase.
it
The
me or does
first
that
phase-
fence seem a little thinner, the actual,
Then what?
than, say, the one on Lincoln Street at,
Possibly.
Lincoln Street? It just looks really extra thin. I'm surprised it even lasts as
Yeah,
long as it
possibly,
did.
yeah. Probably doesn't need the strength, because the one on Lincoln Street's much taller, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely is.
Yeah, so, okay, so that's number 1 to discuss, not number 1 place. Oak Ames Memorial Hall was to switch over, it's supposedly the last building or anything in town with a pull box. The town has mandated that it switches over to the digital, I believe it is.
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, whatever you wanna call it, but it's radio
Yeah.
antenna to signal to station, so.
Why is this historical?
Yeah.
It came through Oak Ames Hall. So they're asking for CPA funds, because it's mandated by the town. And the town.
No, I understand, but why, I mean, it's the same discussion we had last year at CPA. When are they gonna spend some of their own money? And this isn't historical, I mean.
Well, it's historical building, I guess, is the deal, so.
Yeah, well, I'm familiar with historical building, we've given
Yeah.
it hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
but this one, you know, I don't understand why we said no last year, and now they're back.
Not to this, this never came up.
And what CPA did, and, it was thrown out last year.
No, it never came up.
It did, Tim, I'm on the board, I know,
Um,
it came up.
You talked about this last year, didn't you?
Yeah, but I thought it never
It's
got,
come up
But my
a
point is,
couple
it came up,
times.
that point is moved, it came up, we don't need to argue it. If you're not sure, you can check the record. But my point is, why is this isn't historical preservation. This is modern systems. Why is this, I don't get why this.
well, the threat
Because
is.
here's my overall concern, CPA money is less and less. We used to have 100% match from the state. This year, we're gonna have, I think, about 21%, and it's gonna continue to go down. And a few of us have been talking about this for years, that I'm getting concerned. We've had for the longest time, prior to like shovel works, CPA money wasn't always spent. It was, we nest egged a lot of it, because we had our priority parcels for, and then when projects came along, well then that all changed. Now every year we get a dozen or 15 applications. And I asked this of my CPA member brethren, and I asked the same of historical, and not about any job or any proposals in front of us, anything specifically, but just because something comes to us, I think we need to do, we need to consider vetting this better than we do. We automatically rank the stuff. Well, maybe some of it should just be, is this, I think maybe we maybe going forward, next year, we should look and say, well, is this even something we're interested? Do we even want to rank this? Because I think we need to, as a town, start to be careful. Our funds are going to be dwindling on CPA, and I get concerned when I see people coming back for second and third bites at the apples, or they try, people come in front of us and say, yeah, this is a one-time thing, and then they come back the very next year.
Well, one of the ones on the list.
Right,
is
one
the
of them's
first
like
thing
that,
they
yeah.
asked. It's coming up.
And then this is, and this isn't restoring a window or, dealing with the microenvironment that's deteriorating the brownstone on the loggia, or, you know, this is a system. This is an emergency system. Granted, it's needed, but you know, I just don't know why we would pay for this out of historic
How
preservation.
much was this?
$7,500.
Yeah, $8,000
Yeah.
is what we've been carrying for.
Looking at this from both sides, I can kind of see your point, but this was my argument with, I don't want to call it an argument, but debate, when we were having funds, quite a bit of funds, taken out of CPA for this building. There was I could see both sides. This is a historical structure. Why wouldn't we support this? But I'm not going to rehash it, but it was decades of nothing coming out of our general fund to keep this place up. So then it went to CPA. CPA then took the money. Historical building, of course we would vote for it, but I think we all had conflicting views on it. This is almost similar, where if CPA wasn't in existence, being devil's advocate, who would pay for this? It's a quasi-town building. Who would pay for it?
Well, here's the deal. Everything was hunky-dory till the town changed over, okay? So now the town is mandating this be done.
The town's what?
Mandating.
Yeah.
That this be done. It's the last one online. The police chief, the fire chief is not happy that it's taken as long as it has. And I'm sorry, I thought they missed the boat the last time. I didn't even think it went to CPA the last time.
It did go. It
Okay,
did go.
all right, so that's
Yeah.
like Greg says, moot point. I think the threat is take it offline, okay? Now it's not protected. Now, place burns down.
But that
Because
gets back
somebody
to,
wants to
and
spend
I'm not
$8,000.
saying I'm for or against at
Yeah.
the
But
moment.
someone could come in next year with a historic property and say they need a driveway easement because the fire department says they can't get a truck out back, and I get worried about precedent. You know?
Yeah, me
And
too.
we've given an awful lot of money to this building. There's been no shortage of money to this. And we've talked about this till we're blue in the face about, you know, we've funded master plans and all, but you know what, it's still a small group of people that pretty much do what they want and come in and every year look for money to do this thing piecemeal. And we've talked so many times about how we know this building needs $4 or $5 or $6 million. It's gonna be mandated by mass code, not by the town. And so maybe there should be a lot, you know, we don't need to get in, we've talked about that, but we've talked about like 8 or 9 years now. And so maybe we need to turn the screws a little harder so that, you know, maybe it needs to go to a different type of management, or, you know, because I don't see anything getting fixed. And I see Band-Aid after Band-Aid, and I'm tired of seeing my tax money being spent inefficiently. And I think there's a lot of people in the town that feel the same way. And I'd hate to see it be to the detriment of the support that we get of the townspeople in CPA. I think if a lot of people knew how some of the money's been spent inefficiently on projects in CPA, and certain they wouldn't be happy with it. And and I've been kicking and screaming. I'm not letting it go this year on all the boards that I've won. It's time to, you know, I'm tired of the other people's money approach, and people don't really, they don't come in with their I's dotted and their T's crossed, and we'll get them next year. And we're running out of money. The well is running dry. So
Are we allowed to give them a portion or an amount?
Well, we don't give them anything.
we don't do that.
Okay,
We just
really.
prioritize here.
This is
Right.
just going to the next step for CPA meeting coming up,
That's them,
Gonna be,
yeah.
and both of us sit on that board.
But I think and this is it really might make more to the chair of this board and to the staff responsible for this. I think, and this is just a, you know, and I'm not faulting, but I'm just thinking, I think in the future, you know, I just think when, you know, before it gets to this point, because right, we're just board members here to prioritize, but are we really gonna take it, so we're now gonna start so historical preservation is going to be any work on that building, even to bring it into modernity?
Well, it gets back to my question.
Double
If
edged.
CPA wasn't here to grab, who would have to be paying it? Town would have to come up with the money. It's a mandate. It's a financial mandate, correct?
Yeah, I don't know how
So,
it's structured.
wearing both hats, I'd like to know that answer, but I think it's getting kind of late to be able to go further, but I do see your point. And I mean, if you're trying to classify an alarm system as historic, it can be a little squishy.
Yeah, I'm just, you know what, this is like, seriously, this is like the 8th time, it's a different thing every year, but like, and it's all, we all say the same stuff. And I'm just getting tired of it. I don't think it's the right approach, and I think it needs to change.
Is there no trust or anything that belongs to Ames?
As far as I know, there's no money there.
Well, we can't get into that, because we'd be here all night.
Yeah, all the functions that are run over there in the collection funds, or where are those going to pay taxes, or who's getting all that?
Don't be cranking up Greg, all right?
We better not, if we own it, we better not pay taxes
Oh,
on it.
me.
All right, so,
All right.
all right, we beat this horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Low.
so fence, Oaks Ames, Tufts Farm plan, which was to have, students
Yes.
come in.
The students are being paid for by the Conservation Commission, so the Conway School graduate students are coming in to do a sort of engagement and conceptual master plan for the property to how to reinvigorate it as an agricultural property. The ask for CPA would be for an assessment, prioritization of recommended work and budget or cost estimates to rehab the house and the outbuildings, to bring everything up into a state of good repair.
Is that including what we discussed at the last meeting? The, what was it, not a barn? What-
No.
No,
Kennel, no.
the kennel.
Yeah, that's coming down.
That's coming down.
Yeah. So.
I just didn't know if it was because this has been going on for a while.
No, no, this is kind of been spurred by that. I think as we get up there and started looking around, Greg, you were there that day, I believe, and we started looking around and said, listen, why don't we work on protecting and developing what's here as opposed to trying to save an old kennel or whatever. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4 is Smith Farm, additional exterior porches, I believe.
Yeah, the front porch, the side porch, the cellar door, chimneys, and they were advised that their proposal for a rear deck was not an eligible
Right.
expense.
Right, yeah, okay. And.
I also brought up the Smith Farm when they came to CPA. Was it the last meeting, Greg? They came, and I had asked when they came to CPA the previous year, how many times are gonna be coming to the trough, like Greg, and I am concerned about that for many of the reasons why Greg had stated.
Well, I think this is, I believe, and you could ask them, you know, again, but this must wrap it up.
This is what they said.
Yeah, and they said that, if I recall, they wouldn't be coming back again.
That's what they said.
They said last year they wouldn't be coming back.
Yeah, they did.
To you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a discussion you can have with them.
Right.
That's, again, that's not a,
But if you're gonna do this just to prioritize the importance, I mean, we've already invested into this property. There's no debate or argument about historically
well, that's
significant.
true about all of them now. This,
Yeah.
you know, the cemetery, well, I guess two out of 4 we have invested in, so. All right,
I would put, if you're asking, I would put number 4. The farm.
okay. The farm, Smith Farm,
No, the,
Tufts Farm.
Tufts Farm.
Well, a couple things. First of all, we're not investing in anything here. You know, this is, I think, Tufts Farm I would put, I'm sorry, Smith Farm I'd put, I wouldn't even prioritize it. Many of us on the board last year were like, you know what, because they kept coming, so, you know, it's on state property, you know, and so we're getting money from the state and we're giving it right back. And last year there was absolutely no discussion that they were gonna be coming back. And this is always my concern, that when we don't have, you know, we don't have like, that set of plans that we just looked at for that gentleman's edition are more thorough than plans we've received on any of these projects. And I'm tired of that, because if you don't have full plans, you don't have full spec, then you're not getting realistic pricing. And I'm so done with, you know, Project X, and it's Joe's electric firm, and it lists a bunch of things, and it's $55,000 or it's X dollars, and you know it's nothing's really done. Nothing's. How do you give a price when there's no spec, when there's no specification, which spells out what's So then, oh well, now we have to do all these other items. So for me, I wouldn't even consider it personally. I'd take it up.
Well, we narrowed it down to these 4, so this has to be done.
It doesn't have to. We don't have to do anything.
Well, no,
We're
we
not
don't have
forced-
to do anything.
We're not forced to pay for any of
But
this.
the thing is, CPA is looking for us to prioritize,
Yeah, we're talking about us, not.
and it's our duty to be able to do that.
Well, okay, so my point,
prioritization.
I would put a town property, the tough start, even though, so when we met out there, I didn't know, so now we're paying for students to go out and give us a plan.
No,
Okay, so explain that's what I heard.
no, the Conservation Commission is paying, the cost for Conway School students to do, an engagement master plan for the property.
Okay, good.
The CPA application is to do an assessment of the 3 buildings with, prioritized recommendations on work and estimated costs for those
And who's doing that
projects.
assessment?
Whoever gets hired. They've gotten, estimates from Pear Corporation and from Beta
For the buildings.
to do an assessment of the buildings.
This is what drives me crazy. We've been out there, those are simple wood frame buildings.
They are simple.
With all the volunteers we have in town, with all the staff in this goddamn building, why are we paying? This is nuts.
Well, that's why I
This
put
is
it at
such a
number
waste of
4.
money.
Well, I mean, that's.
Mike, I mean, these are wood frame buildings. We go out there, you and me and Billy Humphries were out there, and in 3 seconds we came up with a budget for that building. And that's how this stuff should be done. We've gotten so far away, and I'll be quiet after this. But wait, I'm sorry, this is such a waste of money. This is such a waste of money. We've gotten so far away from, we've got all these volunteers in town, but now everything has to get slotted into these, to these little cliques of mass planning groups and this and that, and we're just a simple town with 25,000 people who have a pretty good volunteer base.
22.
We have a great staff.
It's 22.
And you know what, why can't we all we've got enough people, that we had 1, 2, 3, we had at least 3 licensed builders out there that day. Why can't we're gonna look at that one little, basically it's a garage, okay, you need new siding, you need a new roof, you need some windows, you gotta replace some rot. We could give a price for that thing, a budget that it shouldn't go over in 10 minutes. It's simple.
Well, right now, we've only got 2 or 3 weeks before the next meeting, so the points you bring up should be done way before.
Yeah, but
not
I'm
now.
trying to,
So
but
you
every
bring-
year
you
we just
bring-
roll over here, so I'm trying to educate this, or give my opinion to this board too. Because it gets presented to us the same way every year, and we're running out of money, folks, I'm telling you. We're gonna have, we have, how are we gonna pay for Oaks Ames Hall up the road with that, $5 or $6 million, or other future projects that we wanna do, I just get worried, I see so much money being wasted on CPA every year now, 'cause we don't have to spend it, it can go in the bank and earn interest. And save it for a rainy day,
Well, again, that's.
Just because someone files an application doesn't mean it's a worthy
But
project.
that's something to bring up at CPA.
Well, and to this board too, because members of this board and members of the staff of this board are involved heavily in this process. And it seems it falls on deaf ears every year, but anyways, that's, so. But I still, even though I disagree, I'd still put Smith Farm last. We don't own it. I mean, I wanna invest, to use Tim's word, if we're gonna invest, I wanna invest in, historical properties that are within, either owned by the town of Easton or residents of Easton. Not the state, who doesn't listen to us and doesn't give us park entrance fees, as you know.
Don't get me cranked up. Wait till it goes to $10.
Well, we shoot for number 1.
Cemetery. Right.
Yeah, cemetery's number 1.
And what's the other one? There's
Oaks
Tubbs
Ames.
Farm.
Oaks Ames Farm, Tufts Farm, Smith Farm.
Nothing. I would put Oaks Ames, if we're gonna be keeping to that prioritization of those 4 applicants, I would put Oaks Ames Hall, this is me, Smith Farm, and
Tufts.
Tufts.
Anybody, I think Hall's number 2. Anybody else?
I'll go along with you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So there's 2. I think here I go with Greg. I think Tufts Farm should be 3.
I'll
Smith
go along
Farm.
with that also.
Smith Farm 4.
Yeah, I could go flip-flop, I was just gonna say
Smith Farm is-
that. I can flip-flop on 3 and 4.
Not to get on the box here, but, yeah, Smith Farm thought they were done and this and that, and you know, they can put their hand on the Bible and tell us this is the last trip, and if something else comes up, they're gonna come back. That's just the nature of the beast, that's just the way it is. Tufts is a town property, so we should be investing in that, as opposed to a state-owned property where, yeah, we get taxed and then we get to give it back, so, all right. You said you weren't gonna talk anymore, you're done.
No, I'm just cracking up that we're gonna use a
Save that to debate with-
civil engineer to assess a rotted garage for us. Oh my God. Oh, Lord help me.
A question, if CPC wants to see plans, specs, and budgets for funding, how does applicant get those?
They bring some money to the table and get it done. I mean, don't get CPA looks heavily or looks for significant investment from the applicant also.
Always does.
You know, CPA frowns when someone comes in and they want X dollars and they're putting $0. I
And
mean,
interestingly, to that point, when an applicant has come in through CPA and it's zero input cash-wise, they usually get low prioritization, and then they'll come back the next year and they've done fundraising and several things, and which is a good thing, because it just shows the trough is not always full. There has to be some skin in the game, as the old story
Yeah,
goes.
you always take care of something that you buy and then is given to you, so it's kind of a natural.
But it's
to have that
difficult,
investment.
and again, not, what Greg said, I do see those points, because there's limited funds through CPA. Well, I don't wanna get into this whole thing, because we could go round and round, we just need to prioritize. And I think that's a good prioritization.
Yeah, okay, everybody's happy with that, so we got Cemetery Hall, Tufts Farm, Smith Farm.
Motion?
Okay, all in favor?
Second.
Okay. Preservation Ward's planning discussion.
Nothing really to discuss, but we're on schedule.
Weather looks good.
10 o'clock, the weather looks good, we'll,
We'll have simulcast.
I was gonna say, you gotta have a TV for all the football fans?
Who signed
3
for me?
o'clock, I'm sorry?
Who signed for me?
Who signed for you?
Who signed the?
Well, you told me to, I forget what it was.
Put an X,
I
right?
put an X or something, like Amy's.
Yeah, 1X, 2X,
Yeah.
3X.
So 3 o'clock, try to get, if whoever can make it on the commission, get there a little earlier. We got, through the photography contest, we pulled in a little over 80 images, which I thought was great. We have been building this up a little bit more, but originally when we started, we had 1 award for the Briggs and 1 award for the Chaffin. We now have 2 recipients of the Briggs and 1 of the Chaffin. We've got our congressional leaders coming, they've responded. Citations are in the works for the recipients. We sent out over 100 invitations, but most of them,
Yeah, that's fine, formality.
yeah.
That's-
I think we get more of a packed house just from the photography
Oh, yeah,
winners.
if we take the photo awards, that was,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of old guys
And
sitting around.
it's the best part of this whole thing for me,
Yeah.
because when I call, it's like this dead quiet, silence. Whether they're, an adult or a child, it's amazing. Seriously? Really? I won? It's like they go on and on and on, and they said, of course I'll be there. Especially when I tell them, well,
No, that's fine, I like
Oh,
it.
good.
Yeah, I
So,
think it's a fun
we
wrap-up.
got good
for
press,
the year.
actually, the Journal and the Enterprise. Journal emailed me yesterday, and they're not only gonna send out a photographer, they're gonna have a reporter also. So won't the Enterprise, although the Enterprise is,
Aren't they one and the same anyway?
I'm sorry?
Aren't they one and the same?
Pretty
1
much.
o'clock
Pretty
game or
much.
4 o'clock game?
One's down here and the other's a little higher.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like 4
Yeah,
pages.
you just realized it.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Chiefs fan.
Oh, yeah. Good year to be a Chiefs fan.
It's one of the few.
So we're, again, everything's in place.
Yeah.
Invitations have obviously been out, everybody's probably got them already. We're printing the programs, we're a little late on the programs, only because part of this program is also the Boston Post-Cane. I guess there was a discrepancy, Hazel has been taking care of that.
They're gonna fight it out?
They're gonna, well, I guess unanimous now on who is the recipient of this.
Good.
So I was holding off on the programs to print because we obviously want to add that to it. And
I think what's really cool is, and I believe Ken Michael picked up the tab, is
I'm just gonna ask about
the Historic Society has donated 2 house markers to the recipients. So it's a little add-on.
But just thinking, I never got a response from Christine. She's
Oh,
95
I
Depot.
told you she's
Yeah, I know it.
not around, but she said she'll be around.
Oh, she will be. She will be on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll check with
Just double check on that.
her.
But the McDonald's on the old schoolhouse in the old school district, across from Hennessy's, they will be there. They're ecstatic about the award. They said it's amazing that people really actually recognized, what we've done with it.
That's a nice part of this, people,
There were 3 school buildings on that property originally.
Oh, really?
And then that was, I think, early 70s, the town stopped having school children in there. And then it was sold as business use only in 1996, I believe.
And what property is it?
Hennessy's,
Across from Hennessy's, the schoolhouse.
beside Wendy's.
Oh, yeah, the White House.
Yeah,
There was a school.
Is this
yeah, school until 1972. It was built in 1702.
the original one?
1702, the original one, yeah.
Yeah, 1903 is the.
1903 is, yeah. But there were 3 in that area, that was the Southeastern School District.
Right.
And they combined it with this building in 1903. And then it was a school, I know, from 72 when it stopped being a school, it was school administration until 1996. And then the town voted to make it strictly business purpose only. And that's what it's been. Minus a couple of years when it sat vacant.
Okay. All right,
I just handed out, meetings for the year ahead. There are some conflicts with other scheduled meetings and holidays, so we usually meet on the second and fourth Tuesdays. Sometimes it's gonna be on a Thursday, sometimes it's gonna be on the first Tuesday, sometimes it's gonna be on the third Tuesday. I've noted changes from the usual pattern. So this is when we have the room reserved. Obviously, we don't have to meet at all these times, but just as you're gaming out your calendar.
so we don't tell you you're crazy when you tell us there's a meeting.
On a Thursday?
Yeah, yeah.
First Thursday. What? Yeah.
Remember, Wayne, you're all we've got.
Oh boy, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so that, I believe, does it. Anyone,
We're meeting next on the 5th, right?
next on the 5th, Tuesday the 5th, good, everybody's been advised? Okay, hopefully see you Sunday, Greg says he's,
Love you guys, but,
well,
You can go on
can't say no
YouTube.
to
You can go on
club seats.
YouTube.
Second row,
we'll
baby.
know how close the game is at 3 o'clock, who comes through, it's gonna be all women and kids, and that's gonna be it. All right, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
all in favor?
Just so everybody knows, 7:30, the library's gonna be
Yeah,
on
7:30, the
Chronicle.
library's on Chronicle.
All right.
All right.
Good.